Gold bulls, watch out below. Is it a breakdown or shakedown? On part 2 of the Sunday Chart Show, we look at metals, miners, dollars, and bonds. I'm your host, Steven Van Metre, and thanks for joining me today. And let's kick this off with GLD because, well, it looks like could be headed lower with a little bit of a fake out rally in price. Now, all of a sudden, momentum's shifting. Here we are with the relative strength indicator. Momentum's still positive. We're looking for any number above 40 to say that momentum is still rising. Break down below 40, momentum slowing, and it's looking like, well, GLD's momentum is starting to fade. How about the MACD, your moving average convergence divergence, or as I like to say crossover divergence, because we just had a negative cross of the MACD line over the signal line, which is in red, and that, well, as many of you know, tends to lead to lower prices, especially when the trend is already falling. Well, how about Momentum Timer Pro, where there's now an actual guidebook for you to follow, and what it does is it looks at the RSI. If it's above 40, it signals a buy. If it's a MACD with a positive cross, signals a buy. And if its own internal signals a buy. Well, it needs 2 of those 3 to confirm a buy signal. Otherwise, you get a sell Monday morning. Perhaps, maybe this will show a sell signal. Well, we're looking at the longer term indicators, the 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month. What they're showing here is that gold is kind of in a middle phase. It's not necessarily bullish, not necessarily bearish. If you're trading this, well, keep your stops tight because it's kind of directionless. From a momentum perspective, let's zoom out to the bigger trends. The moving averages, 21-day, 50-day, 100-day, all rising. We're seeing momentum slow down on the 21-day a little bit. It's dropped below 3 of its moving averages, a 9, 21 more key, and the 50, a big one. Well, that all happened on Friday. Let's take a look at the price charts because I've been making this case and you've known about it that we're going to see a repeat of what happened here in mid to late 2020 where you have this big run up in price. You enter this chop fest that everyone gets bullish on, and then it starts to break that 50-day moving average. Well, let's look what happened on Friday. It broke the 50-day moving average. We've got our volume profile turned on, so if you can do that with your chart software, find it in the settings. It tells you where all the shares have been traded over the last whatever period of time you're running, and we got it on 1 year right now. Plenty of price support below 1,800, but no, broke the 21-day, broke the 50-day. And the last time that happened, well, it started the beginning of a move lower in gold. But the good news for the bulls is you've got a rising 100-day moving average. You've got a rising 200-day moving average. Let's go back and see what happened before. Well, it did eventually find support on the 100-day moving average after it crashed through the 50-day. Lending, your next price support should be right here around 1870, and then it rallied for a bit as the 50-day rolled over and continued lower, so that could be the danger zone. So look for a potential move down to 1870, and then you'll see the bulls will be back. All right, let's go on to the miners and see, because they have had a change in direction too. Relative strength indicator momentum waning, sitting at 41, about to cross that threshold of 40 and move down to potentially an oversold condition down to 30. Last time we saw a move running down hard was actually in early January, and price continued lower before the bulls stepped in. So look for potential continuation of this downside move. How about the MACD? We have that negative crossover from a couple days ago, and sure enough, it looks like it's pushing lower. And again, when we see this in a downtrend, when you see the MACD have that negative cross and downtrend, that usually doesn't spell a good fortunes going forward. But you notice there was a downtrend of the MACD as price rose. Again, that's the benefit of Momentum Timer Pro on Friday, signaling a sell signal. And now note here you have the 1, 3, and 6 month strength indicators all showing strong max, mid, strong positions, which means this is an uptrend. So when you start getting sell signals into a downtrend and then it flips back to a buy, which at some point, which is usually what you're looking for from a trading perspective, when the sell goes back to a buy in an strong uptrend like this is starting to roll over, well, keep your stops tight. And again, check out that guidebook when you get a chance. All right, it'll be available to you on Monday's report. So if you sign up, or if you've been on the report and have unsubscribed, well, you have to wait till Monday's report to see it. Anyways, price remains bullish across the moving averages. They're rising. Price has broken below, as we saw with gold, and momentum slowing on the 21-day moving average. Everything else looks pretty good. Let's zip over to GDX. Ton of price support. See down here, we're on the 1-year chart at 32. Even at the 6-month window, plenty of price support right at 31. So a lot of buyers right in that zone. Let's go out to the 2-year chart and see, again, we have these big run-ups. People get bullish and price comes back down. They run up and then all of a sudden it starts to break the 50-day. And we'll see if this thing gaps down on Sunday when we get the futures open, which of course I'm filming this ahead of that in case you didn't know. In the past, just like gold, the 100-day moving average acted as a range of support. It's sitting down here right with that volume profile mark at the 2-year. So you're looking at support somewhere right down here in the low $34 range. If this continues to break down, look for the bulls to come back in there, try to drive it up. But just like before, 50-day rolled over and watch for it again. Lightning might strike twice here. All right, let's head over to silver. We're looking to get it up to 27 an ounce, but now, that did not reach it, and now it's quickly fading. Here we see SLV heading lower, looking like it's about ready to break support. RSI momentum has broken 40, but not by much, 39.95. But anyways, momentum is slowing. How about the MACD? Negative crossover to the downside in a downside price move. That usually means, as we could see here, back in late January, more downside move for price. How about Momentum Timer Pro on Friday signaled a sell signal, and no, now we have none on the strength indicator, none on a 1 month, a mid and a mid on the 3 and 6 month, and now we're starting to see the beginnings of a potential downward move. If you're trading into buy signals on a downside move, remember, keep it short. Maybe just same day, only a couple days. Keep your stops tight. 21-day moving average heading lower. Momentum's going with it. And how about the 50 and 100-day? They remain bearish, but price now crashing below its key moving average, the 21 and 50-day. Let's take a look at where things are headed with silver. And it doesn't look too hot. Didn't get to 27, but got pretty close. And the sellers came in and just slammed this thing right down into its 1-year volume profile. That is some good news. So let's look at the good news case for silver here. It's got a 200-day moving average. It's looking like it wants to start flattening out. And a rising 100-day moving average could provide some price support here. And of course, it desperately will need that. And it's coming right at the bottom of the supply zone. So perhaps buyers will step back in here. If not, you're now looking at a move down to 22, and well, that could be a problem if it breaks down here. But note again, these moving averages are looking at potential support. That's what silver needs. If it breaks down there, then reality says that this bull trend, this bull view, well, probably over. All right, let's move on to dollars, which are going to perhaps be the wrecking ball for the metals and miners. Price continues to rally here on UUP and on the dollar. It is bouncing around overbought conditions near 70 and showing no signs of slowing down. Remember, things can stay overbought or oversold longer than you think. The MACD, well, it looked like it was going to slow down, but nope, it's starting to accelerate higher to the upside as financial conditions are looking like they're getting tighter. How about Momentum Timer Pro? You got max, mid on the 1, 3, and 6 month strength indicator, 13 consecutive buy signals. So now you'll be waiting. If you're in this, you'll be watching for that sell signal to start to change your positions out. How about the other picture here on the longer term trend? Everything is green. Let's go take a look at UUP, because again, the dollar is the wrecking ball of the financial system. It gets out of hand, and well, it's starting to look like that. Look at this thing sitting at 27, which is what we were targeting this thing to get to. I said, remember, it was going to get up to this point. Now the bears need to slam this thing down. If the dollar gets out of control here and starts to rise, it's signaling major risk off event. Let's look at DXY. It's sitting at 101. This thing breaks out. It's going to 120, and well, for a few people will be happy. A lot of people, they won't. Let's look at deferred dollars or bonds. We've got TLT deep in oversold condition. Of course, it's been sitting that way for last week or so, and buyers finally looking like they want to step in here around 120. And how about we've got the MACD starting to potentially bottom out on the MACD line, and we'll notice the signal line starting to curve. Perhaps in the early next week, we'll see a positive cross, maybe by midweek. Who knows? Momentum Timer Bro, all you got to do is sign up. It'll tell you when 2 of the 3 signals go positive and you're in a downtrend. Now, keep in mind, if you are in a defined downtrend where your 1, 3, and 6 month are all sitting at low levels or none in this case, remember, if you're buying in, keep it short. Wait for these signals to pop from none to mid on the 1 and 3 month. They give you a lot more confidence on your position. The guidebook tells you exactly what those mean now, which is pretty cool. Big picture, well, red. So we already know that. How about from the charts? Well, there isn't a lot to say here, because if you're bottom fishing or you're in a defined downtrend, again, any counter rallies have got a long way to go. Here's your 21-day moving average coming down. I mean, volume profile, I mean, you can go into the 5 days and you can see, not 5 years, because that, we'll look at the 10-year in a minute. But you notice, you see the bulls and the bears are fairly close fighting here over the last 5 days. It's trying to pull a bottom in. I mean, you go to the 10-day, it's clearly sellers are above. How about the 10-year mark? Well, you can see there's a ton of shares traded here. In the past, perhaps many of these people, and these are bigger, deeper pockets, pension funds, institutional money managers, they were buying here, probably back here. That could be the tide that changes. But again, before you jump all in on that, follow Momentum Timer Pro, wait for those longer term signals to flip. And last but not least, how about the energy sector also breaking down? Well, you know, it was strong, being overbought for so long, didn't seem to matter. Momentum still behind it, now trending down, perhaps going to get down to 40, maybe break that. How about the MACD? Negative crossover to the downside. MACD has been saying the price needs to come down as it rallies, but generally now this may be the time, if we see this negative cross and a slowdown in the RSI, that could do it. What does Momentum Timer Pro think? Well, you'll find out on Monday when you sign up for the report. Price, momentum still bullish across the moving averages, has cracked below the 21-day moving average. Is it really a big deal for the energy sector? Not so much. It's got the 50-day sitting below here, acting as a level of support at 75, but this thing has just been a rocket ship. And in the past, when you see this, let's zoom out to the max weekly here. When you see the energy sector do that, it usually has a hard reversal at some point. So keep that in mind. Can it go higher? Can it get up here to 86? It should. It could. I don't want to say it should. It could. But just remember, at some point, the whole bottom falls out of this thing. Anyways, I'm Steve Van Metre. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being fans. Bye now.